Welcome to the Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 6 of A View to a Kakuranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show, we share our thoughts with you, the listeners. My name is Matt J. With me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how you doing today?
Oh, not bad, man. Slept super well last night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Very exciting. We're getting a nice chill in the air. Throw a nice warm blanket on.
It is, yeah. You know, dude, I'm old enough now that, okay, so if you're like a young person and you listen to this show, you know the amazing thrill that you get when you stay up like crazy late? Because I remember this as a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, man, I'm going to stay up till like 2 in the morning. It's going to be rad. Now, that same thing happens when I go to bed at like 10 o'clock. Like, I don't have anything to do. Not always. I feel like I like doing stuff. But it's just like, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed. And you just go to bed. And if you don't have to wake up for anything in the morning, and you just sleep, and you wake up, and there's no alarm, and you just are like, you stretch up, you have a cup of coffee, go to the farmer's market, come back, have a nice lunch.
See, I actually did stay up until like 2:30 in the morning last night.
So friggin' old.
I went home and I went to bed, and then instead of going to sleep, I sat on my phone and I read like X-Men comics from like the late Australia pre-Adjectiveless era.
Oh.
Like I just read all the way through like Siege Perilous.
Okay, listen.
I don't know why I chose to do that instead of sleeping for 4 hours. But
I feel bad for you. You did have like a double espresso at, I don't know, 9?
No, that was like 7. I did not expect it to be that affecting. But again, as previously stated, I am older than I once was.
So, Matt.
So, Dave, today we are watching episode 6 of A View to a Kakuranger. Or rather, Ninja Sentai Kakuranger.
Yeah.
We're recording episode 6.
Right.
And we're doing it in person, as you may be able to tell. But today's episode is called The Eyeball Prince. But before we get into that, Dave, shining in the heavens, there are 5 stars. What is our first star of the week?
Our first star of the week is we finally got to see that Power Rangers trailer, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It looks really good.
It's okay. Here's the deal. I have heard a lot of mixed reviews about this trailer. Some people think it looks great. Some people think it looks like garbage. But I think, I think that all comes down to what it is that you want out of the Power Rangers movie. Do you want a movie about, like, the Breakfast Club getting superpowers? Because if you do, this movie
sounds like that's pretty much what you got.
Yeah, this movie looks amazing. Because I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but if you haven't, it is exactly the Breakfast Club gets superpowers.
Yeah, dude, there's even a bit where, like, the kid is laying out his colored pencils, I think, because he's going to do some art. And there's a jock, and it's the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, like Jason is Emilio Estevez.
Yup.
Kimberly is Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, so
Trini is Ali Sheedy.
But I think it looks pretty rad. I'm into it. I like the look of it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm digging so far is that it looks just serious enough that it's not going to be like straight up a goofy kids movie, but not like the fake trailer that somebody put together like a year and a half ago.
Oh,
where like
Power Black / Rangers?
Yeah, where like everybody was like on heroin and like, I don't know, murdering, I don't know, whatever. So it looks like it's hitting that sort of like narrow part of the Venn diagram that I'm actually really interested in.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm really looking forward to the next trailer because I feel like the next trailer is when we're actually going to see like the Megazord and Alpha and Zordon and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm seeing, like, some of the design stuff that I'm seeing is really cool. Like, I actually am pretty into their costumes. Mm-hmm. Like, I think their costumes are pretty rad. I did see a picture of Jason's power sword, which I think looks real dumb.
It's got one of those, like, sword handles that you only see in, like, the third Xenogears game that has, like, a weird loop handle and you don't know how someone's supposed to hold it.
Yeah, but listen, I'm going to reserve judgment, which is good, because they're waiting on us personally
to
approve this. So, yeah, man, Power Rangers trailer. I'm excited about this movie. Ranger Danger guys, Morphin Grid guys. Here's what we got to do. We should all get together and do like a giant review, like just a 6-person multicast.
That would be a lot of fun.
Like, I don't know how we can't go see the movie together, obviously, but
Sure.
like we should make this thing happen.
Trying to line up time zones between like Australia and Cleveland and Texas might be a little tricky.
Oh yeah,
But
okay.
if we can swing it, if
might
you
be
are
worth
listening, then let us know. So, Dave, what is our second star of the week?
It's a quick one, but our parents are in town. Well,
Yeah.
Mom is in town right now, and Dad is he's getting into town today, which is great. And I'm super psyched. Hey, Mom and Dad.
Hello.
Hey, guys. We know you listen to the podcast, but they're not here in the room with us right now because that would be weird.
Yeah.
But, so
They don't typically do it with like an in-room audience.
yeah, the only thing that's weird about Mom and Dad showing up is that, so they get in from Sweden, and, you know, like, you arrive where you're going, and you have, like, a bottle of water and, you know, like, some snacks or something.
Sure.
But all of the stuff is just from Sweden, and it looks mostly the same until you look at it closely. And
Okay.
so it's just, like, I was like, bottle of water, and it just says aqua on it. And I was like, okay, cool, you know, aqua, like, yeah, it must be a bottle of water. And then you look a little bit closer, and it's just like, Venustigenarden. I was like, what the? Oh, right, yeah. Sweden.
Right.
Or
That
there's
comes from a land far away.
Right, or there's like a bag of chips, and it just is like chips on the front, and it's just like, du Snangenflavor. And, you know, and like that just invades my house for a minute, and it, like, it's like if you're in the Matrix and like there was like a glitch in the code.
And like something looks mostly right, and then there's like a weird flicker.
Yeah, because Swedish is like super close to English. Like it's very, very similar. And so if you don't look pretty closely, it just kind of looks like English.
Right.
So that's pretty much it. It's a funny thing, and Mom and Dad are in town, and it's great because we don't get to see them a whole lot. So what, Matt, is our third update of the week?
Third star of the week, Dave, is I went out for a stroll the other day. This is a walk update. This is a walk update. This is a walk update. It's a walk update. Walk update. Do you want to like sing walk update so that Mark can like cut it and put it in if he wants?
Oh yeah, sure. So,
Okay.
So you would have to do like the.
This is a walk update. It's a walk update. Walk update. Walk update. So I'm out for a walk the other day, and this was, I think, a week ago today.
Okay.
Maybe even right after we finished recording the last episode. I don't remember when we did that. It doesn't matter. So I'm out for a walk, and there is an old, like, decommissioned... I don't know what, like, denomination it is, but it was some manner of church. It was, like, a synagogue or,
Like something.
It
Some
was
sort
something.
of like clearly got it.
Right, like, and it has, like, a round ceiling, but not, like, a, like... Russian sort of dome ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so actually, heads up, that place was almost certainly a synagogue.
Okay.
At one point in the past. Was it on the east side?
No, it's right by me.
Oh, well then I don't know.
But it might have been. Anyway, I actually think it is. It's a Pokestop, so I like look at what it's called every time I
Oh,
look
okay,
past
yeah,
it.
no, as long
So-
as we've got what's really important in town.
Yeah, well, listen, it's been a Pokestop a lot more recently than it's been an active like place of worship.
So,
But it's been empty for years, and people have been trying to figure out stuff to do with it. And eventually, what they decided is they're gonna like salvage some of the exterior of it.
oh yeah, that
Yeah.
building, got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so what they're doing is they're tearing it down, they're salvaging some of the exterior, and they're using the exterior of that building to put on the exterior of like a row of townhouses they're putting up or something.
Sure.
You know, like maintain the look of the corner and like get rid of what has become a derelict building.
Great, that's
But
awesome.
I have lived in my apartment for like 3.5 years.
Yep.
And the whole time there's been this empty building next to an empty lot. Just like completely like, you know, just
It's derelict. There's
yeah,
nothing there.
exactly. And now there's actually something happening, like they're starting to tear it down. But the thing is, I'm never there when they're tearing it down. So just like every couple of days I pass by it, and like new parts of the wall are missing. And so it doesn't appear to be in a state of like purposeful deconstruction. It looks like every time I go past it, I have moved like another 20 years into a post-apocalyptic timeline where like this building has just like slowly gotten more and more like you would see it in Fallout. There's just like twisted metal like bent down and piles of rubble.
Oh.
It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to there being something on that corner. Also, brief walk update supplement is that on that same walk, like right around the corner, because I was walking over to the store to get some groceries, I saw on the sidewalk an abandoned, derelict arcade cabinet for Police Trainer. Do you remember Police Trainer?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
was not good.
No, it was very bad. It was, if you do not remember the game, it was like an early light gun game, like pre-Area 51.
Yeah, it was not great.
But it was just like sitting on the sidewalk. Like there were no notes. It was not garbage day. It was just as though like someone was messing with the level editor for that street and like clicked a weird button.
So, okay, I don't actually have a walked update myself because I wasn't walking any place, but another dude was on a walk.
Okay.
More accurately, he was on a roll.
All right.
So I was sitting at my table yesterday, and I look out the window, and I just see somebody glide by, and I was like, what is going on? And so I looped around to the other side of my house, and I look out the window, and there is a dude, and I'm like, listen, I want to be like abundantly clear. Nothing I'm about to say is designed to like get down on this dude. This dude is living his truth in like a deep and powerful way, and I'm just reporting it to you in the same way that I would report it if I had seen a unicorn. All right?
Okay.
So I look out the window, and there is a dude, and he has on a backpack.
Okay.
And big headphones. Mm-hmm. And a red sweatsuit, like a matching top to bottom sweatsuit, like with a hoodie.
Nice.
He is wearing a yarmulke.
Okay.
Which I don't know why, but like the juxtaposition of like a very religious garment with like totally relaxed clothes always is funny to me.
Yeah, it's fun.
And he's on roller skates.
Skates?
Yeah. At first I thought it was like rollerblades. I was like, surely it must be rollerblades. And I was amazed by rollerblades, because like who has rollerblades?
Right.
And I go around, and he's got on roller skates. And he has actually hopped off to the side, and he's standing in a tree line because he's like talking to somebody else who is just a person. I mean, he's also a person, but a special person, clearly.
Sure.
And so as I'm watching, he finishes his conversation, and he hops back onto the street and starts like moonwalk backwards skating on these roller skates. And I was just like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? And I was like, I gotta get a picture of this dude who's just like, this guy has just decided this thing. And
like he has just found his truth and he is living in it.
And he's just doing it. It was amazing.
That is beautiful.
I don't have jokes about that. I wish you guys could have seen it. It was incredible.
So, Dave, speaking of things that you might have jokes about, what is our fourth star of the week?
So, fourth star of the week, Matt, is that teenagers, as long as I work with them, continue to mystify me. I don't understand. So, first of all, in our continued periodic update of what kids are wearing these days,
red sweatsuits, roller skates,
and there was a kid in rehearsal the other day who was wearing mom jeans. And I just want to be clear. I don't mean like high-waisted jeans. Mm-hmm. High-waisted jeans have been back for like a minute now.
Right.
These were straight up like mom jeans. Like they were high-waisted, yes. Mm-hmm. But they, like the cut of them was just like kind of like very loose and like straight cuts. Like just look up the SNL sketch about mom jeans.
Yeah. Oh, I know it well.
And she was just wearing mom jeans. This was not... Anyways.
Pleated?
I don't think there were pleats, but like if I had missed them and they were there, I wouldn't be like blown away.
Nice.
All right? So the second thing is that I'm kind of a nerdy teacher, so nerdy kids eat lunch in my room because like that's how the universe works.
Okay.
Like this is the balance of my world.
Sure.
And so the kids
Liked calls to like.
Yeah. And so there were kids in the room and one kid said something. I forget. It was like an opinion about a TV show or an anime or something. Right?
Uh-huh.
And another child agreed with that. They were like in their heart, they were like, I assent to what you're saying. But instead of saying like, oh yeah, definitely, or like, yeah, I think that too, or yeah, that character is super great. This person, live with their actual human mouth, just said retweet. Like they weren't.
I'm not really sure how to process that information, Dave. It's shocking.
Another child just said at a different point on a different day, they just said like as though there were a button
like
that they
in
were
the air that they had like found.
Yeah, and that they were like activating by using their voice, and they were just like, and that was. They just said it though.
It wasn't. I feel like if they're gonna do that, they should at least have like a sign that they hold up.
Yeah, and it's just retweet.
Man, I don't know, dude. Hashtag teens.
I don't know. I don't know how to handle it, dude. I actually like looked up, and I thought about. There was like a brief moment where it's like, am I gonna address that? And then there's it's like, dude, there's like greater fights.
Right.
Like that's not a hill to die on.
Pick your battles.
But yeah, I was. So actually, that leads me to our fifth star, not because it has anything to do with those kids, just because it's in school. So we're doing a musical.
Right.
We do a musical every year, and I help with it because I teach acting. And so we're doing Anything Goes, which is like
nice.
It's like an old Cole Porter musical, and it's a. Okay, I was about to say it's a great show. It's actually not a great show. Mm-hmm. It's great songs because Cole Porter is great. The show itself makes very little sense and is basically just a vehicle whereby you can deliver Cole Porter songs.
Right, like a thin sort of skeleton, like scaffolding upon which you can build an excuse to sing those songs.
Yes, that is exactly what is happening. So one of the famous songs from this is I Get a Kick Out of You.
Oh yeah, great song.
And and it's like, I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. And then there's another verse later that just goes, how does it go? I get no kick from cocaine. I'm sure that if I took even one sniff, it would bore me terrifically too. Or something like that.
Right.
But it talks about cocaine and champagne.
Right. Which is... I'm sure in Cole Porter's day, perhaps like a less controversial substance.
Well,
not champagne. Champagne's still fine.
But here's the deal. All it says is, I don't do cocaine. I don't do coke. Other people do. That's not me, because I get a kick out of you. That's how it goes.
Okay, now here's the thing. It doesn't say I don't do cocaine. It says I don't get a kick out of it.
Oh well, okay, that's fair. But our principal is like... Our principal is just like, she's like an old lady, and she's been like a teacher for a long time. And like, I like old ladies. Like, I'm fine with that. But she was talking to the musical director, and she said, well, you can't talk about cocaine. Like, you can't reference it. Or champagne, because it's alcohol. And it's like, but that's the song.
Right.
Like, it's a classic song. That's Cole Porter.
It's an American standard.
Right. Like, this is... What? Why do you want to cheat? She like hassled me the other year because somebody died in a play. Mm-hmm. It was a murder mystery. It was a murder mystery. It was Agatha Christie. It's like the Mousetrap. It's like the longest running play ever. It's been in continuous production for like 60 years.
And she wanted to like 90s cartoon that like this person mysteriously got destroyed.
Yeah, like that. She's just like anything that references like it's like, guys, have you like, not to be like, do you know what kids these days listen to? But like just straight up, have you watched TV?
Right.
Like, it's just nobody cares. But
And plus, the idea that, like, you would replace Cole Porter lyrics with lyrics that your principal wrote, like, listen, no shade on your principal. I'm sure she's very good at her job, but she's not good at Cole Porter's job. And Cole Porter was very good at his.
Super good at being Cole Porter. So that's, I don't know, man.
He's in, like, the top 3 people of being Cole Porter.
Yeah.
It's Cole Porter, Cary Grant, and Kevin Kline.
Right.
Those are the 3 best Cole Porters.
The 3 best Cole Porters. So, man, I don't know. I think we're gonna not change it and see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's it, man. Those are the 5 stars. Let's
take a break. Let's watch episode 6.
Speaking of cinema classics.
Oh, yes. Episode 6, The Eyeball Prince, and we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. So we have just finished watching episode 6. Boy, there is a lot going on in this episode.
I think we gotta just, like, that can no longer be our opening comment. I think we just have to make peace with the fact that, like, that's just Kakuranger. Like, it's not just like, wow, there's a lot of episode in this. It's like, nope, that's just Kakuranger. Kakuranger is full throttle, start to finish, all episode, every episode.
Yeah, there is no downtime in this episode.
So we start the episode, and Nurikabe is super mad, and he's still alive, which I had actually forgotten about. My assumption I forgot that. I thought he was still dead, but that dude is alive. Still dead?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
He uncharacteristically has survived the episode. His brother came in at the very end and saved him, if you remember.
Yes, that's right.
With, like,
he gets
the giant
teleported
floating
away.
eye. Yeah, so he is okay. And he appears to have healed up from his wounds.
Yeah, so they don't mention it at the beginning, but the monster's name is Mokumokuran.
Yes.
And he's just a bunch of eyeballs. In mythology, I'm not exactly sure what his deal is. But so he is the titular eyeball prince.
Yes. He is a character who, in other Power Rangers podcasts, I can't remember if this was a Ranger Danger thing or a Morphin Grid thing, when he was in Power Rangers, he was actually called the frustratingly clever name of Sea Monster.
That actually is pretty good.
Yeah, but also he has, like, a big flesh trench coat, and then he opens it up to, like, shoot light at you, and he is literally flashing you. So he's also, like, a real grosso.
Oh, yeah, this was the guy, we talked about him before, where it looks like it's a coat, but it's just made out of his skin, and the inside of it is also filled with eyeballs. It's horrifying.
Yeah, there are like empty sockets in his head, and his torso and inside of his coat are filled with eyeballs. It's bad.
And that's not cool. So these 2 dudes, Nurikabe and Mokumokuran, they identify Tsuruhime as the leader of the Kakurangers.
Yes, they officially say, like, okay, here's the plan. This woman, Tsuruhime, is the leader of the Kakurangers.
So I am very interested in this because, like, is she actually, or is that something that, like, they're identifying, or is just, like, the White Ranger is in charge of the Kakurangers?
From what I have heard from listeners, it is sort of generally accepted that Tsuruhime is the leader of the Kakurangers. Like, the Red Ranger is still, like, the Red Ranger. So to the extent that, like, Red Rangers do, like, special things in the field and have, like, the best
better powers and stuff.
Better powers and stuff. Like, he is, like, Sasuke is still the Red Ranger, but Tsuruhime is the leader of the team. In the same way that, like, in Time Ranger or Power Rangers Time Force, depending on which version of you've seen, like, the Pink Ranger in that show is very definitely, like, the one who knows what is going on and tells everybody else what to do.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I think that's actually super cool. I'm really into the idea that Tsuruhime is in charge.
Yeah, it's weird that they put her in charge but didn't make her the Red Ranger.
That is a little bit weird.
Yeah, we don't get a female Red Ranger until, like, it's this weird, I mean, here's a late game plot twist for Shinkenger or Power Ranger Samurai, so I guess, like, plug your ears for like 3 seconds. But late game in that show, there is a replacement Red Ranger who is a woman.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
But that's, I think, the first and only time we ever get, like, an actual female Red Ranger.
So Nurikabe and Mokumokuran, they decide, they're like, all right, we've got to take out Tsuruhime, and if she folds, like, that's it. The rest of the Kakurangers are done.
Right, like, those other 4 cannot maintain a superhero team on their own.
Which I think is actually a pretty accurate assessment. Those dudes do not seem to know what's going on.
No.
So
they can probably barely keep the crepe truck alive without her.
So here is the yokai's plan. They're going to rob a jewelry store. We'll figure this out later. So what they do is they they shapeshift into ladies.
Yes.
And they have purses full of potatoes that they like wave their hands over and do like fairy magic and turn them into money.
Right.
And then they walk into the store and there's like a flash cut and they walk back out and they're just like, yeah, that was great. And then as they're walking away, they turn back into their regular forms and walk past the same store. And then as they are walking past in their like regular forms, their regular human forms, that is.
Right.
The jewelry store owners run out with hands full of potatoes, and they're like, thief, 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 like, we've been robbed. Which, okay, yes, that's technically true.
Yes.
But what actually happened to you is that someone gave you money, and then that money turns into potatoes.
Yes.
So
I wonder how they're going to explain that to their manager.
I am really curious as to, like, well, no, you weren't robbed as such. I mean, like, you were definitely.
Right, like you were definitely given counterfeit bills.
But that is, right, like, if I was robbed in that way, I would not be running out after the store and yelling, like, thief, thief. I would be like, what is going on?
What just happened to my money? What is going on in this world that I live in? So the yokai are just like, yes, this plan was great. Although, a fun thing that I noticed is in the scenes where they have transformed into women, I'm pretty sure that when they spoke, they still spoke with the voices of those male actors.
Yeah, I think they did.
Which I thought was a nice touch.
So, the next scene is just Tsuruhime, and she's walking around in the dark in a very foggy park.
Yeah, like you do.
Yeah, and then Tuxedo Mask shows up in a horse and carriage. It's actually, but it's not wearing a tuxedo. It's wearing like a Sgt. Pepper's uniform.
Yeah, but he is definitely wearing a tuxedo mask.
Yes, and it is also definitely a lady.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that is 100% a lady. I said 100%, so now I'm going to qualify that a little bit.
Okay.
I am almost certain that the person in that mask is a lady.
Well, listen, when Tuxedo Mask is played in the live-action musicals, it's always done by a woman.
Oh, I did not know that.
I think that actually everybody in the Sailor Moon live-action stuff, like the stage productions, are all women.
Huh. So Sgt. Pepper Mask shows up in a horse and carriage, and
they're like Christmas lights on the carriage. It's like all lit up.
And so Tsuruhime gets into the carriage, and then she is suddenly wearing like a white ball gown.
Yes.
And then the next scene, and you actually looked up from your notes, you were like, did I miss a scene? No, you did not. They're just in the thing, and then the next scene is they are in a hotel ballroom, and everybody else is also in masks and dancing. But they didn't. First of all, they didn't get an actual ballroom. They just, I think, got like the lobby.
Yeah, and they didn't
decorate it. It's
like
a nice lobby, but they didn't decorate it. They didn't even get rid of the furniture. Like, they just pushed all the couches to the side, and that's where they have their dance.
Right. So, it's very fancy.
So they're dancing, and then Tsuruhime and Sgt. Pepper Mask like walk away, and they're at like a different part of the hotel. There's like a balcony, and Sgt. Pepper Mask gives her like a giant necklace, like a giant
like
jeweled necklace.
Jeweled, like glittering, like very ostentatious.
Yeah.
And so as this is happening, she looks up at the clock. The clock chimes midnight, and as though she is Cinderella, she flees from the ballroom.
My notes as she runs down the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's like the scene from the Disney Cinderella. My notes actually say, she loses a slipper? Oh, I guess not. But like straight up I was like, oh, she's going to lose a slipper, and it's going to work in somehow. It does not. She's fine.
So then we cut to the next morning, and she is waking up at home. And by at home, I mean in a sleeping bag in a tent. Because apparently the Kakurangers, like, we thought that they were going to live in that warehouse that they found Nekomaru in the first episode.
Nope.
They don't. They just camp out in the park.
Like, beside Nekomaru. So, first of all, Tsuruhime just sleeps in her clothes. Like, she gets up out of that sleeping bag, and she is just in her clothes already. Although, I kind of dig that they are all wearing the same clothes all the time.
Uh-huh.
Because, clearly, these dudes are homeless.
Yeah.
Like, they do not have a home that they live in. They live in their crepe truck, which they, like, barely make enough to eat, and they camp outside. So it makes a lot... I'm much more okay with the fact that it's like, oh no, you just only own one set of clothes.
Right. And no, you own 5 sets of clothes, and you wear all of them at the same time.
So And Tsuruhime has her own tent, and then the 4 dudes share a tent.
Yeah, so she wakes up, and at this moment, I'm like, oh, that was meant to seem like a dream sequence.
But it isn't.
It isn't, like, because all of that actually happened. And so at no point during that did I think, oh, this is a dream. I just thought, oh, this show is weird.
This is like some weird thing.
So she wakes up, and she has the look on her face like, that was a strange dream. She reaches down and feels that she is still wearing the necklace that she was given the night before.
So she gets up, and she's like, this is very strange. And then she kind of like walks outside of her tent, and the yokai are looking at her from like across the lake. So she doesn't notice them, and they see her with the necklace, and they like, yay! And they like do a little dance.
We did it! We gave her a necklace.
Right, so next...
Our evil plan is working.
Right, have jewelry. So the next night...
Oh, by the way, there is a brief moment where Nekomaru purrs and Jiraiya says, like, good morning, Nekomaru, in English. And then your cat, like, ran across the room when Nekomaru purred.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's really great. So it's that night. Tsuruhime is asleep again. An eyeball, like the floaty eyeball that we saw last episode, appears and, like, blasts her with something. And then she wakes up, she puts on the necklace, and kind of, like, walks away.
Yes.
Or she gets
like,
up out of her tent.
Like, kind of like in a trance.
Yeah.
Not a trance so much, but, like, kind of.
Pretty trancey. And so Jiraiya, like, he's outside of the tent for some reason, and he, like, sees her, and he, like, runs back into the dude's tent. It's like, guys, wait, like, dude, wake up. Tsuruhime is walking away. She looks really weird. I don't know what's happening. And Sasuke is like, dude, if you want to practice your Japanese, like, it's gotta wait till the morning. And, like, rolls over to go back to sleep. Again, it's very unclear how much English the rest of the Rangers speak.
Well, isn't he speaking... Isn't Jiraiya speaking Japanese in this scene?
No, he is not.
Okay.
Jiraiya only speaks English.
Okay.
This entire episode, I think, actually. So, it's unclear as to A, how much Japanese he speaks, and B, how much English they speak.
Right.
But they do all eventually wake up, and so Tsuruhime is like walking away, and Jiraiya runs to follow her, and then Nurikabe appears, and then he bounces off of Nurikabe.
Yeah, so like,
which is
all
great.
of a sudden there's like a wall in the way, and he's like flying backwards from it.
Which is great, because like, that is the thing that Nurikabe does. Like, the actual mythological dude. Like, you just bounce, he's a wall that's out of nowhere, and you just bounce off of him. So, they fight for a second.
Yeah, like, Nurikabe summons a bunch of Dorodoros.
Yeah. And so, like, they're fighting, but Tsuruhime is walking away. So, Mokumoku-ren is there as himself, like, as his human form.
Yes, as his human form, but not as, like, any other... as his standard human form.
Yes. And then...
Sorry, there's a lot of forms going on in this episode, and I'm trying to keep them all straight.
So, they get in a car, and they're driving away, and then Mokumoku-ren... It turns out Mokumoku-ren has, like, eyeball powers, but also, like, illusion powers. Like, that's his thing. And so he uses his illusion powers to turn the car into the same horse and carriage, and Sergeant Pepper Mask is, in fact, Mokumoku-ren.
Right. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't think he had been in his human form. I think he was in his monster form.
Oh, okay.
And she just, like, didn't freak out because she was, like, mesmerized.
Oh, right on. Okay, so Mokumoku-ren is Sergeant Pepper Mask. So they're back at the hotel.
They dance again.
It's
just a repeat of the night before. And at midnight, not the TV show, but like the time, like as he's getting to, like, you know, as they're going to leave, he gives her a bracelet.
Yeah.
And then she leaves. She runs down the stairs as the clock chimes.
Like, literally the same thing.
We cut to the next morning.
So it's the next morning, and the other Rangers are, like, laughing at her story. They're like, this is so, like, how dumb, like, so silly, like, I can't believe this. It's like, my dude, you literally watched her walk away as a monster was fighting. Like, as you were fighting a monster. Mm-hmm. Like, why? I feel like you should be taking this more seriously.
You know, I can't figure out exactly what they're laughing at. Because it seems like they are laughing at her for, like, having a... It's either that they are laughing at her for having such, like, a weird, like, Cinderella dream... Or they are laughing at her because, like, she has the necklace and the bracelet on the table and is, like, pointing to them. So, like, clearly they know that something has happened.
Right.
And so, like, I think that perhaps they are laughing at her for thinking it was a dream.
Oh, maybe?
Like,
Man, I don't know.
like, you have these, like, weird Cinderella dreams anyway, which is why this was able to, like, catch you off guard.
on you.
Like, that's the only way I can make sense of this.
So... she's got she pulls the necklace and the bracelet out. She's like, no, seriously. And Jiraiya's like, oh no, like, I recognize those. And he runs and he gets a newspaper and he brings it back. And there's pictures of that jewelry plus an addition, like a ring. The newspaper is entirely in English.
Yes, and the headline reads, "Thieves steal jewelry with potato."
Yeah, and then, like, I thought I paused it and went back. Because I was like, well, maybe it's just like an English headline. Nope, that is just a newspaper entirely in English. And I think I caught enough of it that I think they actually sat down and like wrote a story. There was like a caption and it is saying words. So he just has an American or an English newspaper,
Jiraiya is a Anglophone. You know, he finds the English language version of the newspaper, I guess.
So
I don't know what money he's using to buy a newspaper every morning, but...
So anyways, they're just like, oh, wow, this is bad. And Saizo says they're going to think that we are the thieves. We have to deal with this. We cannot be like on the hook for stolen jewelry.
Like, we have hot jewelry here.
So we flipped to later that day, and I guess like Sasuke and Saizo have gone to try and return the jewelry. Just like walk in and just be like, hey, real sorry, guys. We have your jewels. So...
Honestly, at this point, the episode became very difficult for me to keep track of. The next time that my notes pick up, Tsuruhime has ran away from a monster, and she is then suddenly dancing with Sergeant Pepper Mask in a field.
No, she doesn't run away from a monster. She just sees him and like runs to him. In like that same like weird trancey thing.
Okay.
So they're in the dream.
Sorry, at some point on here, Dave's cat was like crawling on my lap, and my notes get a little like weird because I'm trying to like write around a cat's body.
Alice loves laps. So Tsuruhime is like dancing with Sergeant Pepper Mask / Moku Ren because it's the same person, and she says to him like as they're dancing, she says, "Please don't. This is a dream. Don't what? Just don't, like, whatever it is you're doing, don't."
Maybe she's just, like, asking him to stop invading her dreams or something?
Yeah. But anyway, so she, like, puts this thing together, kind of. Like, she figures out, she knows at least that it's a dream, but then he proposes. He says, "Tsuruhime, will you marry me?" And he pulls out a binder with, like, a marriage contract in it.
And he puts a ring on her.
Right. Which she then signs.
Yeah.
But she knows it's a dream. But she signs it anyways?
She must be entranced and not just illusioned. You know? Like, because she's not behaving normally. Right.
But she at least recognizes that it's a dream. So then as soon as she signs the contract, they teleport, or maybe they were already there and just the illusion drops. They teleport into a locker room.
Yeah. A locker room at a warehouse.
Yeah, sure. And she's like, wait, what's happening? You're disgusting and I don't want to marry you.
Yeah, because now, once they've moved there, he is in his, like, full monster form.
And she's like, but I have this marriage contract and we're married and I love you. And she says, no, that's disgusting and it's not valid. And so she pulls out her Doron charger to try and call the other rangers. And Mokumokuran just, like, backhands her?
Yeah.
And, like, knocks her Doron charger away, but I guess she just hit, like, the lock-on button because it's still picking her up. So we flash her to Sasuke, and Sasuke's, like, listening to this whole thing happen, and he says, oh my gosh, we gotta go help her. So they run back to Mokumokuren and Tsuruhime.
And Tsuruhime is like, no, listen, I do not want to be married to you. And he says, oh, you want a divorce? And she's
in
like,
that case,
like, I'll take you to court. And she's like, okay, fine, let's go to court. I don't want to do this.
So they go to Yokai Court.
Which is just in a different part of the warehouse.
Yep, they go to Yokai Court, and Nurikabe is the judge. And I did not notice this until later, but he is wearing a judge's robe over the rest of his, like, neon bike suit.
Yeah, he hasn't changed the rest of his clothing. He has just, like, put on yet another layer.
So, Nurikabe is the judge. And Tsuruhime says, well, I don't want to be married to this dude. I demand a divorce.
Oh, by the way, real nice touch in here. The jury are all regular Dorodoros, but there are a couple of other Dorodoros, like, sitting next to Tsuruhime in suits as though they are her attorneys.
I did not catch that. So Nurikabe says, all right, well, if you want a divorce, you're going to have to pay alimony. And she says, yes, sure, fine. Like, I don't care.
Right.
And he says, okay, cool. Well, the alimony that you have to pay is I sentence you to the fried eye. I'm going to say that again. The fried eye. And she says, wait, what now?
Yeah.
And he says, oh, yeah. Mokumokuren just like that. She just loves to eat eyeballs. He loves to like fry them up like eggs and eat eyeballs. So as alimony, he is going to pluck your eyes out and eat them. That is his thing now.
Yes. And so like some Dorodoros grab her in like... Mokumokuran? Mokumokuran like pulls out like a saucepan and is like, aha, yes, this is gonna be delicious.
So as he is getting close to Tsuruhime, he steps on some caltrops and he's like, oh no, ouch.
And then they look up, and of course, if there are caltrops there must be a ninja nearby.
Right, so they toss Tsuruhime her Doron charger and they all super henge. So
now we've got, okay, so all of the Kakurangers there and transformed. Then we've got the 2 yokai and a bunch of Dorodoros.
Right. Oh, and we're outside now.
Oh, yes, now we are outside. Like I said, this episode moves.
Yeah, so they're outside, and this is amazing. Tsuruhime steps out of the line, and she's like, hey, yokai, how can you make fun of my girlish dreams? I'll never forgive you.
Oh, she goes, like, that is a full Sailor Moon moment.
Yeah, she's so angry that she's just like, how dare you?
Like, how dare you mock the love of young girls?
Oh my gosh, it's so good. So they start fighting, and we see 2 cool new weapons. We see Seikai has like a yellow, it looks like a climbing claw.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's like if Wolverine's claws were a grappling hook.
It's like if Vega.
Yes.
It's like if Vega's claws from Street Fighter were a grappling hook, like that's a yellow claw. And then Tsuruhime has like 2 other bladed weapons.
One of them looks like a sword catcher, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. It's like they look like tuning forks, but bladed, if that makes any sense. Like blades on the insides. But they don't announce what they're called, so I don't know.
Right.
But they do have these cool things. So Yellow Claw is a rad grappling hook, and it's super amazing. So Tsuruhime is fighting Nurikabe, I think.
Yes, because at this point, Mokumokuran is sort of like, he's sort of standing behind things, like zapping people with his eyeball lasers.
Yeah.
But they're sort of focusing their initial attacks on...
Nurikabe.
Yes.
So she uses the dancing crane illusion.
Yes, where she summons a bunch of, like, spectral origami cranes to, like, circle around him. He's like, oh, these are very pretty, and then they explode.
Listen, this is just a thing that works in Super Sentai verse, because Daigo does the same thing.
Yeah.
He summons illusions that, like, should not be at all interesting, and people are like, oh, no way, a door, I gotta walk through that. And then it explodes. So she uses dancing crane. And then once Nurikabe is sort of like reeling, she summons the shark bikes.
Yes. And if you don't recall, there are 3 shark motorcycles. There's a red shark motorcycle that's sort of on its own, then a yellow and blue one that each have like a sort of a weird sidecar-y thing. And we finally figure out now why their sidecars are so weird, and it's the best.
So what they do is, I don't have a name for it, I don't think, but they just merge. It's like Ninpo Shark Merge or something.
Yeah.
And all of the bikes just turn into like a giant agglomeration of shark bike.
Yeah, so like the red and the blue, the yellow and the blue one kind of like jam into each other, and the 2 sidecar platforms become a ramp that the red bike is on top of.
And then it just launches the red, like just with Sasuke on it, just launches the red bike at a bad guy, and it like turns into a bolt of energy and blasts into them, and then it reforms on the other side, and then they explode.
It's so good.
I still do not understand why they're sharks, though, but
dude,
whatever.
I do not care. Honestly, I always loved the motorcycles in Super Sentai shows. Like, they don't always have them, but like, I remember Die Ranger had motorcycles.
Yeah.
Jetman didn't have motorcycles, but they all did have vehicles. And
Yeah.
actually, Jet Striker was one of those things.
Yeah, it's a red buggy.
But I've never seen them like joined together in this way.
I thought that was a pretty cool idea.
I was really excited.
So, Nurikabe dies. Like, that dude is dead now.
Yeah.
And with his dying breath, he's like, Mokumokuren, sorry, bro.
Right.
And then he dies. Mokumoku-ren is furious.
Yes,
he's like, well, fine.
Now it's just big time.
Now I'm just going to turn into a giant. I kind of dig that they do not have like a mechanic whereby they get giant. They're just like, guess it's time to be a giant.
Yep.
And then they're a giant.
I mean, they have to like suck the energy down from like the weird yokai energy cloud.
Right, but it's not like an enlarging bomb.
Right.
Or like, it's just like, nah, we're giant. I'm giant now.
It's like an internal switch that they flip.
So Tsuruhime summons White Kark, which is her giant beast general. And she fights Mokumoku-ren on her own for like a second. Mm-hmm. I was kind of hoping that she would just take him down solo.
Yeah, because I know Saizo did that last week.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She like summons, like she's fighting for a second, and then like while she's doing that, the other dudes summon their giant beast generals. They form Muteki Shogun. Mm-hmm. And then kind of from there, it's like...
You know how it's gonna go.
Yeah, Mokumoku-ren like flashes them, and he's like, Ninpo googly eyes or something. And then they're like, I don't know why you did that. It doesn't matter to us. And then Muteki Shogun does Cherry Blossom Attack, which is just, it shoots like spectral cherry blossoms at Mokumoku-ren.
Yeah.
And
which is an attack that Tsuruhime did like on a smaller scale in
Yeah.
the first episode. So
Yeah.
I liked that.
And then like they summon a flaming sword and he dies.
Right. I like the extent to which Muteki Shogun just like at this point in the show is so overpowered compared to these yokai that like whenever they go to attack him, he's just like, he doesn't even move.
He just stands there and then just like, flaming sword. But the best part about Mokumoku-ren is with his, literally with his dying breath, he just says, Tsuruhime, I really did want to marry you. So like, he was in yokai love with Tsuruhime, and that is what he chose to say as he died.
Right. He also wanted to consume her eyeballs, but you know, listen, yokai love.
Yeah, man, they've got they got their own things. So then we go to Everybody's Cool again, and they're standing outside Nekomaru, and Jiraiya like kneels down and offers Tsuruhime some flowers. And she's like, wait, for me? And he's like, yeah.
Yes, and he says, I love my princess. At
And
which
then-
point she's like, oh, you're being a dick.
Oh yeah, you guys are jerks. And she like grabs the flowers and just starts like hitting the rest of the Rangers with them. And is like genuinely angry, which I think is fine. That's kind of a jerk move, guys.
Yeah, like they are all laughing because they thought it was going to be funny, and she is like genuinely angry with them. Which reminds me of, listen, I've done that. Like,
yeah, yup, done that one.
Yep.
Real uncomfortable.
So she goes to like throw her bouquet of flowers like at Jiraiya's head. We cut back to the narrator, and it's like a quick cut, and the bouquet of flowers that she threw like lands in the narrator's lap. And he's like, oh, those guys, will they ever get together? I hope they do, because there's plenty more yokai out there. And we cut to like an evil dance club.
And it's just like some ladies doing like a dance fan, like a dancey fanny dance thing. And then some dudes are, like, they don't have literal dollar bills, but if they had dollar bills, like, they would very clearly be making it rain. And then
there's like a shift in the lighting, and they all become like yokai.
Yeah, except there were two ladies dancing on top of this platform, and there's only one yokai, which was maybe they're like...
Yeah, I hope that is a yokai that we see later in the show. That would be very cool to see how that works out.
And then, that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
So, okay, I know we no longer do high points and low points, but I do have a high point of this episode.
All right, hit me, dude.
I was very excited for a like official confirmation that Tsuruhime is the leader of the Kakurangers.
That was super cool. I really like that. And it makes a ton of sense because she is the one that very obviously is in charge.
Right, like she has the most training and experience and like actually knows what is happening and speaks Japanese and English. So like, yeah, of course, this is your leader.
Okay. So, Matt, we actually have two monsters to get on the creature Royale.
Yeah.
Let's start with Nurikabe.
Yeah. So what do you think about Nurikabe?
I dig Nurikabe. He's got a cool look. Mm-hmm. Like, given that he's a giant wall monster, they actually managed to make it look pretty neat. And I really dig that he has like crazy maze powers, kind of.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that maze is like it is not something they made for the show, obviously, as we discussed last week, but it still exists.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's like outside Tokyo. You can like go and like, you know,
through the maze.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a game thing that you go. Like you pay a certain amount of money, and like within X amount of time, you need to find like 4 flags and then get to the exit.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
dude.
super want to do that.
I would love to go to something like that.
So I dig that they've got he's got like a cool maze, and he himself is like, he's not like the coolest. Like if you're gonna pick a mundane object to base a monster around, which is what it seems like a bunch of these are, just like a wall is kind of weird. And also his weakness is that if you just kick him in the lower left-hand quadrant of his body.
Yeah, but that is like an actual like mythological Nurikabe, not like this dude.
Okay, I would like to point out that's true, but nobody tried it.
That's true.
So
This guy's weakness is being hit with a motorcycle that had been turned into like a giant red energy bolt.
a shark cycle.
Yes.
So
Which is a much more interesting weakness.
I'm thinking like he's kind of bottom third, I would say. Like I'm not super duper into him.
Yeah, where would you put him as compared to, like, I don't know, like a Duke Trump?
He's not as cool as Duke Trump.
Oh, really? I was actually going to say I like him more than Duke Trump.
Well, wait. Let me think about Duke Trump for a second. Because that dude was real creepy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I might like Nurikabe's design better.
I like Nurikabe. Oh, no, dude. Duke Trump is like his monster form is like a giant hand holding a set of cards.
Yeah,
That's
true.
Pretty cool.
That's true. But I guess I like the stuff that Nurikabe does like more than I liked Duke Trump.
Okay.
Because like Duke Trump like did that weird thing where like he turned children into cards and made them dance for him, which was like creepy and interesting. But I I think the maze is more fun.
Okay, so is he cooler than the Four Kings of Heaven?
Man, that's a tough question.
That is a tough question. Is he cooler than Kappa and Rokurokubi?
No, I don't think
he's cooler than Kappa or Rokurokubi. Is he cooler than the Four Kings of Heaven?
I think maybe he is.
I think maybe. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You know, the Four Kings of Heaven have a great... We talk about... I feel like they are a sticking point we get back to a few times.
I think they're cooler than him.
But, like, the Four Kings of Heaven, they've got a great look and are very interesting, like, visually. But, like, as characters, they're sort of a big fat nothing.
All right, man. So, Nurikabe comes in at number 22.
Okay.
And how about Mokumoku-ren?
Okay, higher or lower than Nurikabe?
I like him better than Nurikabe.
Yeah, I'm going to say higher.
I think he's cooler than Kappa and Rokurokubi. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, like, here's what Mokumoku-ren has going for him. He's got, like, super crazy illusion powers.
Right.
Looks slick as heck in his, like, Sgt. Pepper mask form.
Right.
I think it was rad.
I mean, he looks horrifying in his monster form, but...
But, like, imaginative horrifying?
Yeah.
Like, he is super gross because he's got a flesh coat.
Right. And nobody wants that.
Nobody. I don't even like saying the word. But he does have that thing.
Right.
And, like, he's pretty effective. And he does love Tsuruhime in a weird sort of way, so I'll say that.
And I do want to give him 1 or 2 bonus points just for being the same actor as
Radiguet.
Oh, did we mention that at any point in the recording yet?
We did not, actually.
Okay, yeah, we got some notifications from of you, the listeners, that dude is the same actor who played Radiguet.
Which is pretty cool.
I did not notice last episode because the makeup is so radically different between the two.
Yeah, so...
but I want to give him, like, at least some bonus points for that, because I love that dude.
And also, I think, like, Mokumoku, his plan is pretty effective, actually. Like, he gets Tsuruhime, he almost does it. He does, in fact, trick her into marriage.
Yes.
He gets her alone, he's going to eat her eyeballs. Like, this is actually working out fairly well for him.
It's very complicated, but to his credit, it works.
It mostly works. So, cooler than the jewelry priestesses?
Yeah.
I think so.
He also had some jewelry, and his plan was better.
And his plan was way better. So, cooler than Lieutenant Shiryu?
Who's above Lieutenant Shiryu?
A Borogumura?
Oh, the taxi dude?
Yeah. I think he's cooler than Lieutenant Shiryu.
Yeah, do you want to put him above or below Obito-Gumara? I feel like he's like right in there.
Oh man, that's tough. Because his plan is way more effective, but Obito-Gumara is
like
just like such a rad design.
He gets big points for that.
Actually,
like,
you know what?
Car design.
Let me back that up, man. Lieutenant Shiryu is rad. So like we've got some distance from Lieutenant Shiryu, and Mokumokuren is fresh, but like, dude, Lieutenant Shiryu looks rad. He looks like a crazy like Space Knight elf thing. Yeah. And he's got like lightning powers, and he's helping out Toshikaku. I actually don't think Mokumokuren is as cool as Lieutenant Shiryu.
Okay, so let's put him right below Lieutenant Shiryu.
Okay, so he's cooler than Pachinko Master. I'm cool with that.
Oh yeah.
So there we go. So Mokumokuren comes in at spot 16 on the Creature Royale. So I think that's it for us, man.
Yeah, I think that is going to do it for another episode of A View to a Kakuranger. Before we finish up here, I'd like to remind you all you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. You want to get any updates on future episodes or check out the things we're talking about on Twitter, we are at Super Sentai Bros. We have a website now. Yep. It is retrogradeorbitradio.com. I think /Super Sentai Brothers, but if you go there, it's right on the thing. If you like the show, please remember, shining in the iTunes review section, there are 5 stars. Rate, review, subscribe, that's what's going to help new people find the show, or so we have been told. We are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio, as previously stated. Once again, we are the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
And we will see you next week.
Kakuranger.